Hello and welcome to my Edessa Let's Play series. So in the previous episode we launched a mission to try to explore beyond just the Kerbin system, that is, the system involving Kerbin, Moon and Minmus. And yeah, we had some fun trying to plan some kind of a transfer from Kerbin outwards. So last we checked, the Lunar Explorer 3 had a maneuver node planned here to circularize its deep orbit of Kerbin, and then hopefully from there we'll be able to figure out where else we can go. So I've done a little bit of reading, and the transfer I was trying to do when going to an outer planet is called a Hohmann transfer. And that needs the outer planet to be ahead of you rather than behind you. That certainly explains why we couldn't do that transfer. But if you're trying to move to a planet that is inside, so closer to the orbiting body than you are, then it needs to be behind you. So what I can do is I can try to look up charts and say, hey, this, that, and the other needs to be this many degrees behind you and so on, but I haven't quite done that yet. So what I'll try to do now is I'll try to go back in here and see if I can plot some maneuver nodes after this particular maneuver node and just see how close we can get. So we'll need to wait a good while to get to another DoNet transfer. So we can always do that using the the miracle of time warping, but I figure we can try to use up our time a bit more productively. So what I'll try to do here is I'll add another maneuver. I'll add a maneuver node here and see what we can do about burning retrograde to bring us closer there, and then bring that down to see how far we'll be. So if I set this as target, so yeah, according to this is where the target will be, so that's where Eve will be, and that's where we will be. Whereas, of course, this will be the closest spot we have. What you can do, if you're really stuck for finding an intercept with a planet, is just simply, set a periapsis that's roughly overlapping with your target, and it will eventually hit it, because it will overlap it. You will have a slightly different period of orbit, and so you will hit it eventually. That's, it's going to involve an awful lot of waiting, because you're going to be sitting waiting for it for a long time. But hang on, that's interesting. So if I move us out a little bit further, we actually get, yes, we get a close approach. Okay, so let me try to move this around and see if we can get this any closer. Ooh, hello. Okay, well that's no good. So try to get this. There we go. Okay, that gets us very, very close for relatively little burn. We'll only burn 34.4 meters per second, and we'll get pretty close to Eve over there. I like that. Okay. And yeah, for some reason, if I fine-tune it in any way, it just snaps to this instead. Oh, hello. So now I'm just reducing the closest approach. Hello, there we go. So now if I focus on Eve, okay, that will get us within Eve. Okay. And then what do? We want to try to get home, right? So if I then add another maneuver node here, and say, okay, I want to slow down. Okay. So how much is that going to cost us? So if I go to here, it's going to take 2,055.77 meters per second. Okay. So how much do we have in the tanks? So we have 4,083 meters per second. So what this will do is it will get us to an intercept of Eve and then into an orbit of Eve, which is cool. I mean, we can definitely do that. We can afford that. It's about, can we afford to return from there? So just doing some quick math. Let me just do that. So 2,055 plus 34 is 2,089. Round that up to 2,090, right? And we should still have about just shy of 2,000 delta V for the return trip. And because Kerbin has an atmosphere, we can use it as for air braking, so we'll only really need to burn from Eve, and if we time it properly, we may well be able to return home safely. Okay, so let's do that. If I just zoom in here, hang on, why is it not letting me zoom? Okay, for some reason I'm unable to zoom in and out at the I'm unable to zoom in and out at the moment. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, so it reckons this maneuver node is where we need to burn. That's fine. So I'll delete this maneuver node. And in 8 days, what's going on? All right. So in 8 days, we can circularize our orbit and then burn again to do an Eve intercept. I'm more than happy to do that. Okay, approaching our maneuver node now. Okay, and we only need 34.4 meters per second. That's cool. Now, of course, I didn't actually read how much this next maneuver node is going to cost us. So I'm just going to have to redo all of those calculations and then double check that we still will indeed have enough delta V for our return trip. Okay, and throttling up. Okay, we are circular. Now let us plot. Okay, let's try to get this to be as low as it possibly can be. There we go. Oops. Reset this to 0. There we go. Okay. Okay, so that's just under 600 meters per second. Okay, and then moving on to here, try to match that plane. Too much? There we go. So how much is that gonna cost? So it's 370 meters per second. Okay, so this is chewing up through our budget nice and fast. The first maneuver node will be 590 meters per second. Next maneuver node will be 370. So that'll be just under 1,000. So that'll leave us another 3,000 delta V, which is fine, I guess. And that'll get us pretty close. 279,000, 280,000 kilometers of Eve, which of course is the Kerbin analog of Venus. So I still think this is doable. It's a lot less margin for error, obviously, but we can do a flyby of Eve at least, and then head back home. I will be happy with that. Okay, so turning this off. I don't need that anymore. Let us, when is the next maneuver node? In 4 days. So let's warp to that. Okay, so the Atlas Explorer is approaching 500 science. We can jump to that ship and download that science. This is why I love Kerbal Alarm Clock so much. It lets you do things like this, you know. So leveling up crew. Oh, okay. And we're sitting at just under 500 science. Making sure we have enough power. I'm just going to stop research to maximize that. Time warp until we have full batteries. That will do. And let's transmit that science. Beautiful. Okay, so that leaves us another 115 units of available data space. So let's see if we can put any more of it into the science. So looking at through our existing experiments. Okay, so this takes 62 data. We have enough room for that. This takes 188 data. That's a bit too big. 50 data. I'll have that. And that fills it up to just under the limit. So we'll keep the rest. Lovely. Let's add another. There we go. So another reminder for when the lab is next full of science. Science lab. No, oh, right. Start research. There we go. Add the alarm. And that will happen in another 12 days. Lovely. So now we don't even need to switch ships. Now we just fast forward. And there we go, so jump to ship. Lovely, thank you very much, Kerbal Alarm Clock. And here we have the Lunar Explorer ready to do its maneuver burn in 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So let's rotate towards our prograde. Lovely. So we have 2 minutes to burn, so I'll fast forward a little bit. Five minutes to burn and throttling up. There we go. Now let's have a look at that next maneuver node. So can we fine-tune this maneuver node just a little bit so that we can intercept ILU instead of just doing a flyby? Let's attempt it. So there we have it. We have an ILU transfer, and lo and behold, we have another... Oh no, never mind, I misread that. We have an ILU flyby. Sorry, an Eve flyby, my bad. So there is Eve. And there is her moon Gilly, and we should fly by about 52,000 kilometers. We should come to within about 52,000 kilometers. And then after that we can plot our return back home. Hopefully, I don't... It may take a couple of orbitals to finally intercept Kerbin again after that, but we can do other missions while that's happening. Yeah. Okay, so that we need to add a maneuver node. Sorry, we need to add a alarm for that. So that is the maneuver alarm. Lunar Explorer in 24 days, and we will burn for 18 seconds. And that will be 374.5 meters per second, dropping us down to 3,100 meters per second. Remaining. Okay. Yeah, this is... The more I think about it, you know, the scarier it becomes. So, just want to double check. Okay. So what is it going to cost to circularize? Just under 1,000. Okay. So that'll give us about 2,000 meters per second remaining. Which I really... Yeah, I think that should definitely do us. That should be enough for us to be able to get home safely. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I mean, if it doesn't work, we'll send out a rescue ship anyway. Just... Yeah, it would be good to get it right. Alright. So we'll leave that. If we do this maneuver node properly, then this maneuver node shouldn't really change much, so I'll just leave that in place. Okay, now let us... We could fast forward another 24 days, but I would like us to go home. Space Center. Because we have just transmitted a bunch of science home, and I would like to have a look at what science goodies have been unlocked. And okay, so the Space Center seems to be embedded in very thick fog. Okay, well, it doesn't seem to be affecting it our ability to enter it. So let's have a look. We now have 1,010 units of science, which is outstanding. So now we can unlock nuclear propulsion, which is amazing. It gives us incredibly high ISPs, which is really good. of 800, which the only engine that does better than 800, to my knowledge, is the ion thruster engines, but those really don't have a lot of thrust. Although, I mean, if you have the power, if you can provide, because they use quite a lot of electricity, if you have that, then they're absolutely critical for long-range missions. So, anyway, we just unlocked nuclear propulsion. Let's have a look at what else we have. So we have, so this is the Octo 2, and it costs 300, along with some more MechJeb features. That's cool. What else do we have? We have a bunch of wheels. What's this? Yeah, I think we're gonna need this one, the advanced reaction wheel module, because it produces quite a bit of torque and it's practically critical for the larger engines. And then of course we have the Space Y external reaction wheels, which are just as powerful, but they kind of wrap around the outside of your ship, so that's pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll go with these. Next we have advanced landing, which is all manner of landing gear. That's cool, but not really necessary for us at this point. A whole bunch of airplane engines. Yeah, not interested. Where are our big antenna dishes? So this is the relay antenna, rated at 100G. That's going to be really useful for flying, for being able to have unmanned probes going out to the far reaches. But is there an intermediate? There we go, rated at 15G. This relay antenna is about 7 times more powerful than our strongest antenna thus far. So we'll unlock that. And we have 250 science remaining. And what can we unlock with this? So the spark liquid fuel engine and liquid fuel engine, some small fuel tanks. Or do we go for airplane parts? You know what? There's really no harm in it, and we can actually do both. So advanced landing, advanced aerodynamics unlocks a whole bunch of a whole bunch of airplane parts, including the air brakes. And then this one unlocks a whole bunch of engines again, and the Panther afterburning turbofan engine. Yeah, I'm a little bit torn. I think I'll go with this one because it gives us the practically the top tier landing leg, and with our craft propensity for tipping over, I think we're going to unlock that one instead. So let's do that. Having a quick look at our jobs: atmospheric surveys, planting flags, rescuing Osbor, more surveys, and none of this is really due anytime soon. So I think, I mean, it would be nice to fly out to Minmus again and plant a flag, but I think I'm rather keen to see how our flight to Eve is going to go. So I can't see, oh, there we go, the tracking station. Hidden in the fog. There we go. We have strong signal strength, which is good. Let's jump in there. I cannot help but be concerned for Ailu's safety here. I've not attempted to fly to Eve before. I mean, I've been to Duna, but I've not Eve. And usually when I went to Duna, I'd already, unlocked like the top tier nuclear engines and large. It carried a whole lot of fuel tanks, so there was a lot more margin for error there. This time around, we're kind of just going by the seat of our pants, which is, it's perfectly fine. That's how we're going to find out whether things work or not. Hey, Ilo, would you like to get out and gather up some science for us? Okay. Alright, fine. There's apparently no science. Where are we? Are we? Of course, we haven't even left Kerbin's influence, so let's do that. Okay, approaching the end of Kerbin's influence. There we go. We've just exited orbit of Kerbin and entered orbit of the Sun. So now if Ilo gets out, she can do a bunch of science, or at least some science, in space high over the Sun. You feel kind of small right now. You hope you know where you're going. As do I. Okay, get back inside, please. And we can... Ilo's a pilot, so she won't be able to reset this experiment, but because we have two of them, I'll just run one of them. So, observe mystery goo. And that is going to give us 20 units of science when we get it home. We'll keep that. Good stuff. Now let's warp to our maneuver node. Okay, coming up, 14 days, 13 days. Seem to have slowed down our time warp. Oh, of course, our science lab is filling up with science again. Okay, let's jump to the science lab. Lovely, so let's transmit science. Looks like we're at full power, so we should be right. Lovely. Once again, freeing up another 100 units of data. So let's have a look at our experiments again and see what other ones we can transfer into the lab. So, review data. Okay, 188 data. We still don't have room for this. This one we definitely do. So another 60 units available of data. There we go. That's 737. That will do. Keep the rest. Lovely. Let's go back to our space center and see what we can do about what else we can unlock. Okay, the fog seems to have cleared and we've got a message. World first milestones. Recent accomplishments of our space program have attracted contributions from numerous organizations. We have performed a spacewalk in orbit of the Sun. Oops, wrong number. I meant to go into the science lab instead. So research and development. Okay, 500 units of science. Let's unlock some things. High power electronics. Yes, I'll have that. What's this? And I've just blown our budget. Okay. Propulsion systems. Yeah, sure, we'll have that. Precision propulsion. And yeah, no, we cannot afford anything else. So it goes by pretty quick, but that's perfectly fine because our lab is just going to keep churning out that science until it uses up all of its data. And hopefully by that point, we'll have some fresh data for it. Okay, back to our Lunar Explorer. Oh, actually, I forgot. We need to go to our lab because I forgot to set the next alarm. Back into the tracking station. Atlas Explorer, let's go. See, this is why it's really important. Like, as soon as you unlock it, you have to get a science lab up into orbit and just keep feeding it data and keep it topped up with data, and it will generate tons and tons of science for you over time. So let's add a fresh alarm for the science lab. And we'll add that alarm. Lovely. So now we can start to fast forwarding again and wait for either filling up with science or the Lunar Explorer's maneuver node. It looks like the science lab will fill up with science first. Cue Benny Hill music. There we go, approaching 500 science. Yep, thank you. Okay, let's send it home. Lovely, and just renew that alarm. Oh, hang on. No, that's too long. So let's transfer some more data into it. Still not enough room for that. That will do. That will fit. 25 data. There's no room for that. 40. Okay, good. Next alarm. Whoops. There we go. Lovely, and on we get. Beautiful. So now it's time to go back to our Lunar Explorer, because a Lunar Explorer has finally arrived at its maneuver node that will change its orbital inclination and hopefully send it in for an intercept of Eve. It's trying to orient it now. Oops. There we go. We're now in position, and let us maneuver. Okay, we have our intercept. Let's see if we can. So Eve periapsis, trying to drop that periapsis down. Fine-tuning it now. Okay. Now focusing on Eve. So we're here, and Eve is here. We're doing well. We now are off its orbital plane by 0.1 degrees. That is close enough to get us an intercept at this stage. So we'll focus on that and have a look at our periapsis. There we go. A little bit of lag there. Stand by. There we go. So that is going to give us our flyby. Let's add that maneuver node and try to do a circularize. Okay. Lovely. So the circular rise is going to be 981 meters per second. And that's going to chew up our second stage, leaving only the front stage. And that will have another 2,000 meters per second left in the tanks. Okay, I'm happy with that. I mean, there's no guarantees that we'll be able to get home on that, but I think 2,000 should definitely be enough for us to make the jump from an outer orbit of Eve back to Kerbin. I think so. I may well be wrong here. I mean, I really should be looking this up, but I'm willing to just kind of go on gut with this. So just rotating the craft around so that it's ready to do its maneuver node when it arrives. And just going to make sure that it's still oriented properly so that it's not going to run out of power. Okay, so it's going to be facing the sun this way, and as it orbits the sun, these panels will rotate to meet it. That will do. Okay, and that is going to happen in 23 days. Okay, let's add that and begin fast forwarding. So we're on our way. There's Kerbin over there. So Kerbin is sending us a decent comms signal, but it seems to sort of be intermittent, which is fine. I mean, this is good. This is a great indicator that we'll be able to send unmanned probes towards Eve in the future. Good. So fast forwarding again. Okay, see how that signal strength seems to drop. Not 100% sure why that is. I'm guessing that one of our relays is simply getting obscured by a moon. But yeah, we'll have to plug that gap. Okay, coming in. We're getting in behind Eve at the moment. There's Eve right here. Including its periapsis, apoapsis, etc. And our time warping seems to have slowed down because our science lab is once again full of science. Lovely. Let's transmit that home. Okay. And do another quick review of data, see if we have any room to upload to the lab. Nope. Yep. Yep. Okay. Good. And add another alarm, please. This thing done. Anything needs leveling up? Probably not, but worth a shot. Nope. Okay. So let's go back to our Lunar Explorer. Okay, so as planned, the solar cells are still facing the sun. You gotta love these. You gotta love these guys. They just extend and continuously orient themselves to face the sun at all times. Okay, zooming out. Where are we? So there's Eve, and this is us. It looks like we're kind of going to swing around the inside of Eve and then catch up on the far side over there. So let us commence fast forwarding. At this point, we actually have no connection anymore, so we have exceeded the maximum range of our comms. So there's Kerbin over there, and we're now clearly too far away from Kerbin. Okay. This is why we need those bigger dishes. Okay, coming in on the inside. And just catching up to Eve now. And now we've got a faint radio signal as well to Kerbin. Kerbin is actually No, this is way further away than it was before, so... Yeah, I'm guessing that was another obscured relay. How are we doing? So, in 11 hours, we're going to intercept Eve. And our time warping seems to have really slowed down. Okay, incoming. Bingo! We have initiated a flyby of Eve. Good stuff. Let us do some science. Okay, Alu, congratulations. Oops, we're still time warping. Alu, why don't you get out and do some science? So, EVA report. While in space high over Eve, you've recorded your observations about the situation. Well, that's very informative. Thank you, Ailu. Get back inside. So, we have initiated the first flyby of Eve, and we've escaped the gravitational influence of the sun. Both good things. Now, let's get to our maneuver node, which is in another 13 hours. But it looks like our science lab is going to fill up in 7. So that's fine. Let's warp there. We've gotten a faint signal back from the Kerbin Space Center. That's always good. Let's jump to our Atlas Explorer Lab. Okay, how are we doing? We're running low on power. Atlas, what have you guys been doing? Come on, bring her about. It's ended up sort of facing away from the sun. Ooh, I like that. That jumped to about 7 point something. Okay, that's really good. I'll have that. Let's fast forward a little bit so that the batteries charge up. We still have another 5 hours before the Lunar Explorer has to perform its maneuver, so we're good. We've got a good bit of leeway here. Lovely, and transmit science. Beautiful. What other data can we process? There's not enough room for this experiment. It requires 188 data. So we'll need to wait a little bit for that. What else do we have? No, that's it. Okay, well, we are actually running out of experiments to feed the science lab, which is just as well. Hopefully, when Ailu gets back from her Eve flyby and her Eve orbit. Yeah, I'm guessing we'll have to aerobrake in Kerbin. But it would be really sweet if we can just get into orbit of Kerbin and dock her here and transfer all of those goodies to the science lab instead. Oh well. So let's add another alarm for when the science next fills up. Good. And now we go back to our Eve flyby. Okay, how are we looking? Okay, good. The craft is still aimed at the maneuver node. That is good. Beautiful. Let's fast forward to that maneuver node. And you start to see the little planet there in the middle. That's cool. Good, go away. And you can go as well. So turn to retrograde. Looking good. 2 minutes, 24 seconds to burn. Okay, 5 seconds, throttling up. So this is going to chew through the second stage, I believe. And once that's gone, we'll have to jettison it and then fly on the final stage. Which is a bit of a pity, because I was hoping to use this as a relay, but if it's not in a stable orbit of Eve, it's just going to end up drifting off. And we have run out of fuel on this stage, so let us jettison that. Just going to F5. It's got a nasty suspicion, so let's see. Good. Okay, we have detached. And staging the final stage engine. Let me just try to get a little bit away from there. Okay, we're clear. Throttling up. And we are clear of our relay in our final stage now. Continuing with our circularization burn. Are we circularized yet? How are we looking? And there is our apoapsis. We are now in a relatively circular orbit. 83,000 kilometers. And periapsis of... not very high. Periapsis of 51,000 kilometers. Okay, that's fine. And how is our relay? Okay, we cannot switch to our relay. Fine. What is going on? Why can I not see a darn thing? Relay? Ah, there it goes. So what's... whoops. Why does our relay keep disappearing? There it is, okay. So if I switch to our relay, I'm really curious. Why does it keep disappearing? Come on. There you are. Switch to it, please. It's most probably because the relay is still on an escape trajectory from Eve. So let's have a look at where it's going. Yep, so the relay, or our second stage, our spent second stage, is on its way out of Eve, and it's gonna sort of do this oblong orbit until the end of time. Or until, you know, it probably is gonna intercept Eve again and smash into it at some point. But yeah, that is the Explorer 3 relay. Let's just make sure that it is angled towards the sun. Yeah, it looks like it's going to keep orbiting it in this sort of alignment. And there is Eve in the distance. And these panels should be following the sun throughout the way, so that's fine. Opening this thing, make sure there's nothing we've forgotten in here. Probably should have done that before we detached. But yeah, no, looks like it is all roses. Okay, and I think the last thing we want to do is just rename it, because at the moment it's Lunar Explorer 3 Relay, so we can call it something else. We'll call it Eve Flyby Relay. Accept. And away it goes. We can enable crossfeed, do all them good things. Just close this. Keep the solar rays at bay. Thank you very much, second stage of our Lunar Explorer. You will now be a permanent relay of the solar system. And now we switch back to our Lunar Explorer. No, unset target. Let's switch to it. And now we start thinking about how on Earth we are going to get back to Kerbin. We're looking good. We have 2,032 meters per second delta V remaining. And since this is as close as we're going to get to Eve in this particular mission, let's perform the last of our science. So this is going to be worth 50 science if we can get it home, which is great. But I would really like to get it to our science lab instead. I mean, it doesn't matter. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But it would be cool if we did. Do another EVA. Is there any science we can perform? Yes. Beautiful. Now let us plan for our return journey. So, given the principle of the home and transfer, Kerbin is behind us, so we are set in a good position, relatively speaking, to get to Kerbin. Or we could try to hunt for Moho. I think that might be getting a bit greedy at this point. So let's attempt to get back to Kerbin. So this is the plane of Eve's orbit. So this is the direction it's traveling in. And what we want to do is we want to launch from it and go outwards. So a rough guess is a maneuver node here. Okay, and then of course pushes our apoapsis out. So if I then just push it until it reaches Kerbin, and of course set Kerbin as the target. Okay, will we get an intercept? Maybe, yes, no? Okay, so this is going to cost us 588.7 meters per second in delta V. Let me just fine-tune the position of our maneuver. Okay, it's in the sun, but I'm going to try to... see, if I zoom out, then I don't really have such fine control, but if I zoom in too far, then it's in the sun. So, let's see. Well, that's better. I've actually moved it. Hello. So that's 10,000. What am I doing? Yeah, I've been reducing it as a force of habit, whereas I'm actually supposed to be increasing it. So let's try that again. 1429, that's as good as it's gonna get. Okay, that's fine. And that is gonna put us, where is that gonna put us? That's gonna put us just outside of Kerbin's orbit. So let's reduce that a little bit. Okay. It gets us a little bit closer. Good. And a descending node of 2.3 degrees, so we can do another adjustment burn en route, and that should get us closer. Okay, I'm happy with that. This is going to be really tricky. I really hope that we are able to return home. From the looks of this, it's not going to be too expensive, and we may be able to re-enter Kerbin's orbit by using our engines, which would be hella cool. I would really love for us to be able to do that. Whew. Deep breath. Another drink of water. There's the sun, and there is Eve. In the next mission, we will get closer, I promise you I will. But I'm sure you'll actually get a few stars from just flying this close to it. We have another message, World Force milestone. We've entered orbit of Eve. We've performed a spacewalk in orbit of Eve. Well done. In fact, I think we should send some of this data back, because we can just gather it again, you know? So an EVA report, well, never mind. A crew report while in space high over the sun. Not interested. Sun. Eve. Atmospheric pressure scan. Temperature scan. Crew report in space high over Eve. Let's send that home. Ooh, can we send it home? Yes, we can. Let's do it. There we go. And that gives us another milestone that says... we've gathered the first scientific data from Eve. For, 21,000 credits. It's nothing to sneeze at. Thank you very much. And now, we can do another crew report. And keep this one for use in the lab. Easy. Alright, let's fast forward to that maneuver node. Which is going to happen in about a day. That's kind of cute. We are getting a signal back home through our Eve flyby relay. That is so cool. Good on you, flyby relay. Doing your job for us. Really strong signal from us to them. Poor signal all the way to Kerbin, but good enough. We were able to transfer some science. Okay, yep, goodbye. Another message, hello. We've escaped the... Hello, we have escaped the gravitational influence of Eve. Have we? Oh, that's good. Oh, that's our relay, our flyby relay has done that. That's cool. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling, and 2 minutes and 25 seconds to a burn of 37 seconds. "15 seconds to burn. 5 seconds. Throttling up. So that is our current apoapsis, and that is our target apoapsis over there. Okay, that is a slightly higher apoapsis than we had planned, but I'm okay with that. We still have 1,288 meters per second left in the tanks. This is going to be close. So we'll plan a maneuver node to try to match our orbital plane to Kerbin. And this is going to hurt. Oh my, 468 meters per second. Okay. And can we get an intercept? No, maybe not. Nope, definitely not. Okay, so we're not going to intercept on this particular flyby, but hopefully on another one. So let's try to change on the ascending node. The ascending node is usually cheaper because we're traveling slower to get there. Yeah, by a good 200 meters per second. Okay, let's do that. So that's going to happen in 51 days. Okay. Ailu, it's going to be a little while before you get home. Just hang in there for me and we will get you there safely. Nope. Hang on. What are these? There's Kerbin out there, and Kerbin is behind us at the moment. And looks like the Atlas Explorer is about to fill up with science again. That's cool. Okay, Atlas, how are you doing for your power generation? Okay, that looks good to me. Let's transmit this science home. Lovely. How much space do we have? 250, just under. Let's see what else we can feed it. Got in the lab, 188 science from the surface sample from Mimas Lowlands. Good. There we go. Fresh alarm. Done. Back to exploring. Hello, Ilio. How are you doing? Let's rotate ourselves towards that maneuvering node. We don't really need to do that. In fact, I'm just going to rotate us like this, so that as we orbit the sun, this thing will keep following the sun. We do not want to run out of power out here. I mean, yes, we can get out and push as well, but still, it just wouldn't be necessary. Okay, just hit an F5 again, just in case Kraken decides to visit. Alright, let's fast forward. At this point, we really have no more connection left to the... we have no more connection left to Kerbin. And of course I messed up my Hohmann transfer. You're supposed to Hohmann to a higher orbit if the body is in front of you, not behind you. Yeah, that is why our intercept didn't work. Oh well. Okay, back to the lab again. So the lab has filled up with science already. There we go. Sure, delete and close. How are we doing for power? Power's still good. Transmit that science. Science transmitted. Do we have any more experiments to feed it? Nope, that is it. That is all the data that it can process. Okay. Fresh alarm. Good. And we're back. Solar panel is still angled properly. Good. It's getting very lonely out here. Going for 101 days in this mission. And let's start fast forwarding again. And of course our lab is full again, so jump to that. And of course there's no more science left to be fed into the lab, so nothing else to it but adding the alarm. How are we doing? So there's our lunar explorer awaiting its maneuver node in a short while. Counting down. Okay, solar power is still good. Maneuver node seems to have drifted on us, so that's fine. I think we didn't. We forgot to set it anyway. Okay. So this is going to be a maneuver node of 353 meters per second, leaving us with under 1,000 meters per second. We're in deep space at the moment, and we're also in deep doo-doo. Okay, throttling up. Okay, how did we do? Good. We now have an ascending node of 0 degrees and a corresponding descending node of 0 degrees. So we are now coplanar with Kerbin's orbit. And at this point, we're going to be here when Kerbin's here. So if we do a little bit of fast forwarding, hopefully on the next orbit we'll get a little bit closer. So this is going to be opposing. It looks like the science lab is filling up with science again. All good things. Yep, I've got to practice my Hohmann transfers. How are we doing? How's the power generation? We're full. Okay, well, transfer that data. And lovely. We're done with that. And we're done with that. "24 days until the science lab fills up again." That's good. How is the science lab doing anyway? It has 391.7 data stored and 0.5 science. That's cool. Alright, let's get back to our... let's get back to... I've forgotten the name. Lunar Explorer, that's right. Any second now. Okay. I'm getting increasingly worried about Ilu's safety at this point. Hang in there, Ilu. We'll get you home at some way, somehow. Oh. We had briefly run out of power. Thankfully, the alarm went off and we were able to catch it. Okay. Okay, that's more like it. Gotta keep facing that sun. This is day 142. Ilu, you are spending an awful long time in space. That capsule must be getting really smelly. We are now practically at opposite sides to Kerbin. And looks like the science lab is filling up again. Good on your science lab, Atlas Explorer. Okay, I'm gonna try to plot a maneuver node and see what we can do about getting an intercept. Yep, that is useless. Okay. So let's jump the next orbit. Next orbit, next orbit. Ooh, that gets very close. Okay. Okay, I'm liking this closest approach. I just want to try to make it cost as little as humanly possible. Okay, so that gets us an intercept for 675 meters per second. I'll definitely buy that. Let's see what I need to do to get it into Kerbin orbit. I can definitely afford 686 meters per second. Definitely happy to pay for that. Okay, how fast are we gonna be going once we intercept it? Come on. Okay, so our track is gonna sort of cut across this way. Okay, that drops it somewhat more, that's cool. Come on. Whoa. Oh wow, that's a very low periapsis. So for the price of 697.3 meters per second, is this right? Am I reading this right? Yeah, it definitely does look right to me. Have a quick look, 697.27 meters per second. That will swing us right through Kerbin's atmosphere and hopefully get us to re-entry. Good stuff. 264 days away, but yeah, good stuff. So we'll add that maneuver alarm and we'll jump to our science lab. There's a lesson in there. Always, always, always look up your Hohmann transfers, your orbital mechanics before attempting this stuff. Then again, I mean, it's gonna be late, you know, returning, but it's gonna get home, you know. It's a very good thing that Kerbals don't need to eat. Mind you, there is a mod that makes your Kerbals have to eat, and yeah, I've chosen not to even attempt that one. I mean, it's really cool, don't get me wrong. You have greenhouses and things like that, so you can still get your Kerbals out there in perpetuity, you know, where they will recycle their water, keep growing their food and stuff like that. So long as they have power, they should be right. But yeah, I've just kind of didn't really want that level of challenge at this. Another alarm. What am I doing? That's not it. This one. So that's in 34 days. We are getting completely filled up and gorged on science points while Aulu Kerman is out there drifting away. Just trying to get home. We gotta get him home. Gotta get her home. There she is in her Lunar Explorer, and we're here waiting for her to get home. She's got a plan. She's got a plan to get home. It's just, yeah, it's 243 days away. Wow, I've maxed out the time warp, and it's still taking forever. How are our contracts doing, actually? Have we got anything approaching expiry? No? Okay, we're good. We're good. These are all like 5 to 10 year contracts, so... Okay. Oh, on we go. Okay, it looks like the Atlas Explorer is going to fill up with science one more time before Ailu Kerbin finally gets to her maneuver node. There's our Eve flyby relay, which would be acting as a pretty decent relay at this point. It's sort of at a midway point between us. But yeah, I can't really tell whether it's transmitting science to us or not. Okay, Lunar Explorer is getting awfully close to Eve over here. Sure hope Lunar Explorer doesn't end up re-intersecting with Eve. It shouldn't. It's gonna get close. Whoa, that was close. Okay, the Lunar Explorer is finally coming up to its maneuver node. Having a quick look at our contracts. Yep, none of them are really aged. They're going to be off by a fraction of a year. A big fraction of a year, but still not a complete year. That's fine. And our science lab has finished another batch. Lovely. So the lab now has another 13 points of data. I don't think it's going to be able to fill up with science after that. Yep. So the lab's going to generate 66 points of science and then be out. That's going to happen in 166 days. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. But let's switch over to our Lunar Explorer and just make sure, because it's got another 3 days before it finally performs its return burn. Let's make sure that everything is still as it should be. Ilo's looking a little bit mad, but who wouldn't be after 2/3 of a year in after 9 months in deep space, just waiting for your return burn. Tempted to make her go EVA just so she can stretch her legs. Being cooped up in this time the whole time. So let me just have a look. If I do interior overlay, if you have a closer look, this is how much space she has. She has no place to go in there. There's no place to walk around or do anything. You're just strapped to your seat the whole time. It is very close quarters, and you can imagine being in there for 9 solid months. She would be going a little bit mad at this point, as we can see from the look on her face. But at least she looks happy, right? There we go. We're still looking pretty good. Let's continue to fast forward for the next 3 days. Doing well. There we are. Now, I'm gonna have to do this nicely zoomed out. And focused on Kerbin. I'll just F5 just in case Kraken visits. So this is what we want to achieve. Want to get a periapsis of 19.7 kilometers or less into Kerbin. And yeah, there's no real hope of, because we only have 755 meters per second, this is going to cost us just under 700 meters per second. There's no real hope of orbiting Kerbin at this point. We want to slam into that atmosphere and just chew through that heat shield. I honestly have no idea whether Ilu's going to survive re-entry, but, you know, it's the only best chance that she has at this point. So, yeah, here goes. So 1 minute 50 seconds. Just going to fast forward to that. Excuse me. Okay, 40 seconds. 20 seconds. 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, throttling up. Alrighty, pushing out that apoapsis and shifting our angle of orbit. This line is trying to get to this line. And once it hits this line, it's because it is a result of the flyby of Kerbin. We appear to have run out of fuel. Why have we run out of fuel? I don't understand. We had enough Delta V. What just happened? What just happened? We had Delta V. Wow, how were we off by this much? Ilu, I'm afraid you're stuck. I don't understand the delta V calculations. How could they be this far off? Where is she now? She's over here. She's gonna be here at that. Wow. Okay, so she's gonna fly by Kerbin at a distance of. Wow, it's gonna be so close. So our closest approach is going to be 565,000 kilometers. We are going to have to send a rescue mission to rescue Ilu. So there's no alarm we can set for this point. Yeah. Okay, well, I still don't understand exactly what went wrong. I must have misread the delta V calculations, or they were simply just off. So I'm just gonna make sure Ilu is still facing the right way. And yeah, I'm gonna go back to the Space Center and start planning a rescue op. Ooh, here's an idea. What if we send the Atlas? I like this idea. This is a crazy, bonkers idea, but the Atlas has 3,000 delta V in its tanks. Can the Atlas catch the Lunar Explorer? Let's find out. Atlas. Yes. Although I'm hesitant to trust the Atlas's delta V calculations. Here we are. So Atlas, let's maneuver out of here. Where is this guy? So Lunar Explorer is going to be here in 46 days. Cool. So let's get ready to jump out of the Kerbin system and catch the Lunar Explorer. So I want to burn in this direction, roughly like that. No, we don't want to do that. I want to stay in Kerbin orbit for the time being. Oh, come on. Good. There we go. Get a nice high apoapsis. Okay. Good. $78,000 kilometers. Good. And then we'll add a maneuver node here to the apoapsis to circularize. Yep, so that's going to be cheap. We can do that. This is insane. This reminds me a little bit about. This reminds me a little bit of The Martian, where they sent a space station to go rescue him. That's what we're doing now. Ailu is going to get so close to Kerbin, but she has utterly run out of fuel. Now we have to go and catch her. Okay, rotating ourselves towards this maneuver node. And it's not like she's in a, a nice circular orbit either. She is in a sort of eccentric orbit. And she's only going to come close to Kerbin, and we're only really going to have one shot at this. But hey, it's going to be a lot of fun finding out. There we go. Just using physics time warp, so we can slowly rotate, because this thing does have a lot of inertia. But for us, the time passes relatively quickly. Okay, first maneuver node, let's go. Okay, so killed throttle. Make sure this is active, so the engine is definitely active. Good. "15 seconds to burn. 5 seconds throttling up. Okay, let's inspect the damage. We're looking good. Yep, and just push that out. There we go. Nice circular orbit in the far reaches of the Kerbin system. Ready to jump out and catch our lunar explorer and her intrepid adventurer, Ailu. Okay. Just bringing her about towards the next maneuver node. We still, according to this calculation, we still have 3,157 meters per second delta V. Which, at the moment, unless if I've grossly misread the numbers that it was showing us before, Lovely. Ready for that maneuver. Let's go. Okay, 2 minutes 56. Five seconds, throttling up. Good. Now let's plot our intercept. Hello? Trying to get that distance to be as low as possible. Okay. Anything, come on. Just moving that maneuver node around, trying to get that intersect to be nice and low. Okay, that didn't do it. No. Trying again. Okay. Oh, okay. How about if we do this instead? Okay, that didn't do it. This is tricky. This is very, very tricky. No. Trying again. Takes a few goes. Okay, so apparently in 16 days we can break out of Kerbin's atmosphere and will intersect by an enormous distance. Alright, well I suppose that's the first step. Okay, bringing her about. Okay. Fast forwarding to that now. Okay, 7 days to closest distance of 500,000 kilometers. Wow. Okay, we only need the tiniest little bit of thrust this time for this maneuver node. Okay, throttling up. Righto. Good enough. Nope, okay. Trying to drop that distance down as much as I possibly can. But yeah, see, the relative speed is going to be enormous. We do not have that in our tanks. Okay, we're going to have to continue the celestial dance for a little while longer, but for now, let's fast forward to that sphere of influence. Come on, Kerbal, let me out. Kerbin, let me go. Are we loose yet? Okay, we're loose. Whoa. Come on. Nope. Oh dear. No, no, no. Set this thing as target, please. Okay. What can we do from out here? Hello? Oh, I like that. That is going to get very, very close. Oops. No, 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 don't you dare. Drop that to 0, please. So at a relative speed of 747 meters per second, we'll swing by it at just over 6,000 kilometers. See if I can drop that. Very carefully. Very carefully. It's one single tick at a time. Come on. Okay, good enough. Perfect. So with this single maneuver node, we'll miss it on this particular orbit, but on the return orbit, we will swing by them at 751.8 meters per second, and that's going to happen in 87 days. Let's do it. Okay, something's happened to our maneuver node. Let's just be sure to have it in the right spot. Okay. The Kraken is definitely visiting us, which is not a good time for us. Once again, we'll try to fine-tune that. Okay. 7,000 kilometers is going to have to be close enough. Fine. Okay, fine. If that's the best we can do, we can always do an adjustment burn later on. That's going to be a burn of 389.5 meters per second in 10 days. Let's get her into position. It's kind of funny, I haven't even considered what we're going to do to get home. Okay, bringing her about. Come on, Atlas, you can do this. Alu is relying on you, guys. Good enough. Let us fast forward. Yeah, we don't need this maneuver node. Come on. This maneuver node. Okay. Beautiful Atlas crew, doing well. 2 minutes 40 seconds to maneuver node burn. Throttling up. Lovely. Okay. Now, next thing I might do is I might add a descending node. A descending node, maneuver node. And then see what we can do about this closest distance stuff. Oops. Trying to get this number to be as close to 0 as possible. Oh, hello. That's looking really promising now. Very nice. Okay. Very tricky. We're sub 1,000 kilometers. What just happened? Come on. Trying to get this as close as we possibly can. Oh, come on. It's a separation of 99.3. That's going to have to do. So with another maneuver node of 20.4 meters per second, that should get us this intersect in 62 days. With a separation of 97 kilometers and a relative speed of 697 meters per second. It's going to be fast, but we should, emphasis on should, have that in our tanks. I sure hope we have that in our tanks. Okay, let us bring her about for this burn. Okay, she's now pointed. In 29 days, we will burn to this maneuver node. Now, I believe we have collected some data. Let's also perform an EVA. Can anybody EVA? Can you EVA? Yes, you can. There you go. Do some science. There you go. Lovely. Now, let's see if we can give the lab something to do. Oh, good. Plenty of available space. Yep. Oh. Hello. 62 data. 20 data. 30 data. 25 data. Lovely. The lab now has plenty to do, or at least something to do. Good. In 61 days, the lab is going to have another fresh batch of science ready to be sent home. Hopefully they will have a good signal strength at that point. Let's fast forward to that maneuver node, shall we? There we are. There's Kerbin, and there is Lunar Explorer. Okay, 2 minutes, 45 seconds to maneuver. 7 seconds to maneuver. 5, 4, 3, 2, throttling up. A little bit of fine tuning there. Okay, how did we do? We're going to have a separation of 289 kilometers. That is definitely within the margin of error. Okay, let us add. Let's add closest target distance. And that's going to happen in 33 days, 3 hours and 6 minutes. 7 minutes. Okay. Okay, let's warp to here. Okay, so that's us. That's Lunar Explorer. We're coming in for a closest approach. Kerbin's falling behind us now, which means we're going to have to re-intercept Kerbin at some point. Then again, I don't know. I mean, we might just swing out and see where else we can go exploring. Okay. Yep, thank you. Hello. Try to get this thing to be a bit closer. Oh, too far. There we go. So in 6 hours, we'll do another fine-tuning maneuver, and that will bring us to within 37 kilometers of our target. Very, very slowly, very gently. Okay, we're in position. Fast forward to that maneuver node. A tiniest little nudge is all that we need. Okay. Just gonna start throttling up right away. Kill this thing and try to do this in real time. Okay, that is gonna have to do. Another maneuver node to try to get that even closer. Oh, okay. Okay, never mind. Never mind. So that's going to happen in 1 day. Let's fast forward to about here. Intersect in 13 hours. Target. Just bringing the ship around now so that when we are flying by the target, we will be, relative to it, will be facing retrograde. There we go. Let's warp to here. Four hours to intercept. $2 to intercept. Takes a very long time to do anything at these distances. But we're getting close. Just gonna quick save just in case Kraken decides to mess with us again. Fast forwarding some more. Okay, 30 minutes to intercept. Throttling up just a little to reduce our relative speed. Excuse me. Just trying to drop that relative speed a little bit, you know? Fine-tuning that closest approach as best we can. Now, because we're traveling in reverse effectively, we want to try to get this circle to be on top of this target. And you can see as we're doing that, the relative distance starts to drop. Sorry, the separation distance at intersect starts to drop. Okay, we're getting very, very close now. 15 kilometers separation at closest intercept. We're 1,000 kilometers away. Okay. 6 kilometers, looks like that's going to be as close as we can make it at this point. 39 minutes away from intercept. "30 minutes from intercept. 20 minutes. 500 kilometers away. Dropping that red separation. Sub 5 kilometers now. Sub 3 kilometers. 474 kilometers current separation. "17 minutes to intercept. "10 minutes to intercept. 1.5 kilometers separation. 181 kilometers away at the moment. 7 minutes to intercept. Should be able to see the target now. Somewhere. 161 kilometers away. Come on, where are you? $130 away. Excuse me. 10 minutes to intercept. 80 kilometers. 30 kilometers. Gotta be visible now. Come on. There it is. Beware, Lunar Explorer. We're nearly there. Hang in there. There he is. We found him. So we've just accomplished the world first milestone. We've performed a rendezvous maneuver around the sun. Good stuff. 1 kilometer away. $600 meters, 500 meters, 400 meters. There we go. Now let's see if we can control from here, if we can turn towards our target, like that. There we go. And we'll retract our solar panel just in case. Okay. $220 meters and closing. Okay. Yeah, we've actually ended up in a dead stop. Do we have any RCS? Oops. We have no RCS whatsoever. Okay. That's annoying. I did not mean to do that. Okay. Lovely. Okay, hold still there for me. Let's switch to locked camera, please. And we want to aim camera here. Control from here. And then can we... Okay, fine. There we go. Now we're not going to have brakes, so we don't want to be going too fast. At the same time, don't want to be going too slow either. Lovely. Steady as she goes. Coming in nice and close now. Oh wow, would you look at that? This is going to be amazing pinpoint. From 100 meters. Come on, will you dock? We have docked. We have successfully docked Kerbin without any RCS. Whew. Oh my goodness. Clean all the experiments by all means. We can transmit some science, yes. Sure, why not? There you go. We can feed it some science. Oh, we can transmit the science? Yeah, sure, let's do that. Okay, transmit that as well. Oh, we'll keep that. Lovely. What else we got? Transmit that, yes. We do need to recover that, okay. However, Minmus. Do we send that home, or do we... it's a bit of a... yeah. Yes, definitely send that. There we have it. So we've performed a docking maneuver on the sun. I'll definitely have that, but we're definitely not on the sun. We started constructing the first space station around the sun. Yes, we have definitely done that. Okay, let's shut down this engine. And now we can push it around and try to get ourselves home again. Oh dear me. So, Kerbin, set as target. Yeah. So, we're going to have to plot our way back home again. But that is going to have to wait until the next episode. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.